Welcome to the Back 9 Six-Pack with Mitch and Justin. Let's roll.
Hello and welcome to episode 118 of the Back 9 Six-Pack. My name is Mitch, joined as always by my esteemed colleague Justin. Many people are saying fall is back. Is fall back?
This weather fucking rocks. It doesn't get much better than this. I'm going to pop that. It doesn't get much better than like 74 degrees on an August day. Like I'm worn out. I don't know how you feel. I'm worn out by the 90s. But we all know how this is going to play out. This is exactly how it's going to play out. My neighborhood pool is going to shut down after this weekend. And about a week from now, it's going to be 95 degrees, and there's not going to be any way to swim or anything like that, at least for me.
Yeah, that's what ours does too. And yeah, this is 100% the fake fall that we get here in the Midwest, the Ohio River Valley.
Yeah, you think it's over. You're like, oh, we made it past the summer, and then your air conditioner is going to be on till October 15th. So,
yeah, I mercifully turned mine off today. I think I heard it groan when I turned it off. It was like, oh my God, rest. But yeah, walked outside this morning to head to the gym, and I was like,
it's cold.
Kind of taken aback. I was like, oh God.
Dude, I had to wear a hoodie this morning, driving in my Jeep with the doors off. I didn't get on the highway, I can tell you that. There was no chance of me getting on the highway. I had the heat on, too.
I drove to the gym with the seat heater on. I was trying to get the back loosened up.
What was it, like 50 or something?
Yeah, it was like mid-50s.
The low tomorrow's like 47.
No, that's too cold. I'm cool with the 50s into the mid-70s, but once you cross the 50 threshold down to 40...
I'm not crazy about that. I'm just telling you, it's short-lived. I haven't seen the 10-day, but I would imagine we've got some 90s coming up relatively soon.
Stay tuned for Justin Cantori's official forecast. But yeah, football's back. We had week 0 kicked off. We got college, the real week 1 kicking off this week. NFL next week. We are right there.
I'm so excited about this weekend. This is a good weekend. We tag it with our fantasy football draft. You got a pretty decent college game on Friday. Going into Saturday slate that looks pretty good too, and then Sunday, we've got our draft. It doesn't get much better than this. I just got to get through this week, and football's back until February. So,
praise be.
I'm just taking too much interest in this, Major League Baseball playoff push by the Reds that I need something to distract me from the obvious pain we have coming at some point in the next month and a half.
Yeah, I mean, we got that going on. It's a Ryder Cup year, football kicking. I mean, this is like we're hitting one of those like peak, sports moments of the year, and it's always fun when you get to one of those.
Absolutely. Well, you get some really good Saturdays and Sundays too, right?
Oh, yeah.
September 27th is looking like a real banger. You got a pretty good slate of college football games, plus the Ryder Cup, plus our Ryder Cup. That day. So looking like a pretty good weekends coming up here soon.
Yeah, no doubt. We deserve it too.
We do. Oh, we 100%
we deserve it.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Please, if you are here, subscribe, rate, and review the show. Follow us on social media at Back9Sixpack. Send us over some fan mail too if you'd like to do that. That link is always down in the show description. Our golf time. Got a little bit of a rundown here. First, I wanted to give you the floor back. Going back to last week, your Patio Beers question, the golf quote-unquote logo problem, as you coined it. I've since kind of come to realize I think it's more of just like a merch or a golf clout.
Maybe that's what I meant by that, right?
Yeah. But since then, you've spammed me almost daily with the new update on the situation. This conversation has legs. I'm seeing the tweets that you've been sending me. You've sucked me into the vortex, and where are we at on all this?
So my algorithm went nuts with it, and I just think there's a lot more of it out there too. I truly believe it. First off, it's led me into thinking we have another problem. We have a burner account problem on X, and what I mean by that is CT frying pan, like that, like these stupid accounts, woke there's just so many of them now, and I swear to God they're all in the same friend group. And I'm on to something here. I've tracked a guy back to Michigan, okay? I've tracked 2 of them back to Michigan now. I am starting to think it might be some conspiracy theory here that I'm tracking into. But back to the merch thing. So I've seen all these posts. Now I want to say there's an Instagram account called like Bucket List Pro Shop or something like that, where they post pictures on there all the time that they get submitted to them that people go play, Chicago Golf Club, all these, Winged Foot, you name Olympic Field, like all these top 100 courses, and they send in their pictures of what they bought in the pro shop. That's enabling. We need to stop that. That account needs to be shut down immediately. And here's my biggest take, and I think this is where I've landed on it after like really kind of reading people's takes on it and stuff like that. From the member that's inviting him to the club, right? I would be embarrassed. Specifically when you're talking, like we're talking about, you're like, well, it's a lot of times the pros own the pro shop, like they don't care. I think at some clubs, like less than top 100, you're probably right. The pro's probably thrilled, right? Like, he's selling his crap, whatever. I think when you're talking about your Camargos, your Chicago golf clubs, your Wingfoots, your, Shinnecock Hills, I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And I will tell you, if I was a member and I took someone to say I was a member at Wingfoot and I brought someone in to play golf that day and they spent that much money, say, just you've seen the piles of stuff, right? That would be the first and last time they'd be playing at that golf course. I mean, it'd be a no-go for me from there on out because it's embarrassing. Like, imagine your guest walking through the clubhouse and you're running into people members specifically at these golf courses, people that have influence, right? And you got to, someone that sees you that is like I don't know, whatever, CEO, something like that has influence, and they see your guest walking through the pro shop with 8 bags of crap. It's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. I'm just going to call it what it is. It's embarrassing. And I will tell you, from my experience playing Scioto, played with a member I did not know. He limited me to 3 items. He said 3 items. That's it.
Oh, yeah.
And, I bought two hats and a belt. Yeah. So he did. He told me he's like 3 items only. Like, you're not walking out. Like, and this was 7 years ago. So it was like, this was before the epidemic we're in now.
Sure.
That's my problem with it. I think it's just unbecoming, specifically the courses that they're doing these at. These are high-end golf clubs. And just not like, I can't imagine the members that brought these people to these clubs are happy about it. There's zero chance. Maybe I give it a 1% chance that they're happy that they did this when they brought him on as a guest.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one thing if you spend a good sizable portion and you don't, post your haul on social media, right? Like if you're discreet, I guess that's one thing. But yeah, if you're out there bragging about it, you're reselling it on other websites, like, yeah, we don't want that. We don't need that. Nobody wants that.
Literally, the one I saw that kind of blew up last week was I'm going to call him a kid. I'm assuming he's a kid. I guaranteed, like under 25, right? Maybe under 27. And he went to Sleepy Hollow. Sleepy Hollow's logo, it might be the best one in golf. It might be. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. He posted, I mean, I bet he spent $5,000 or $6,000 in the pro shop. And, I'm not saying this was him, but I was like, I'm going to take a look at eBay. Looked at eBay. People were selling Sleepy Hollow hats for $125.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Like, it's just stupid. But I'm telling you, someone's going to buy it. There were some in the sold section for like $100. Like, someone bought like an Imperial Sleepy Hollow hat for $100. Think about that for a second. It's an epidemic, man.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're a club, that's well established, pretty exclusive, whatever, like it's not. You don't really want non-members out there with your logo all over the place, right?
That brings up a great point. It brings up an awesome point.
Because they have no stake in the game to rep the logo and the club well or whatever,
No, and I've been to a member guest where someone was wearing a logo and the guy was kind of acting like a dickhead. He's like, you're embarrassing your club. Like it might not even be his club. It might,
exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I'm not against wearing logo. Look, I have shirts, right? Like I do. I've bought shirts before. I think any course I've ever played that has been worthy of something like that, I've never gone overboard. Like I said, Scioto, I bought 3 things. Like when I played Muirfield Village, I bought, I think, a shirt and a belt. You know what I mean? But I don't know. To me, especially if you haven't played the course, could you imagine someone recognize, like, oh, dude, like that's Sleepy Hollow, right? Like, I've played there too, and then you can't even talk about the course because you've never played there before.
Yeah, I actually got this on eBay for $100. It was a good deal.
Well, they're not going to say that, and they're probably going to try to bullshit their way through the conversation. It'd be a weird conversation to have.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So, I don't know. That's kind of my take on it. I think it's lame. I think that's the biggest thing, and it's kind of unbecoming. Like, I can just tell you that if I was a member at a club, like how I would feel. And that's how I would feel. Like, I'd be pretty embarrassed by someone doing that. And then if I saw it on social media, I'd be pissed.
Yeah.
Like I'd make them take it down.
Yeah.
Like that's where I would stand. So I don't know. And knowing a couple people that are members at places like this, I know that they would be mad too. Like they wouldn't allow that. Like if they would go into the pro shop with you and they'd probably, like, as soon as you got the 5 or 6 items, they're like, that's probably it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They'd cut you off. So
I mean, I can't think of a reasonable reason, right? That you would even want that much merch. Like, as a visitor to a club, you buy something as like a memento or whatever, a cool, talking piece or whatever. But like to go in there and spend that much money and like you just have all the Sleepy Hollow stuff or whatever.
Yes,
like what?
Like travel bags and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like,
there's
it's
no
so
reason,
weird.
There's no reason to actually do that other than like you're trying to resell it or something. I can't imagine, or just simply for that one post, right? Like there's no, yeah.
And I was thinking of it this way. I'm like, that guy has more Sleepy Hollow stuff that he's not even a member there than I probably do have clothing items for our club.
Yeah.
Like,
for sure.
How ridiculous. And I try to wear shirts, like when I play in tournaments or whatever, I try to wear our Elks Golf Club stuff just because I am representing the club. You can see it, who my Gens registered with, and it shows up on the leaderboard. And, last thing I want to do is like be representing our golf club in a tournament and have, Sleepy Hollow on, right? Like, I don't know. It's kind of weird. I don't know. That's kind of my take on it. It's becoming a hot topic, though. It definitely is.
Yeah, 100%. I could not believe the amount of tweets that I've seen since you brought it up. Again, could be the algo working.
Yeah,
but
I think it
also,
is too.
I just have seen a number of people that I follow to kind of like organically post about it. So definitely a conversation that's happening.
Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of conversations happening, you sent a post right before we hopped on here about what your golf clubs say about you. And so this guy made like a scatter plot. I'll have to post it or something so people can actually see it. I think what was the name of the account? It was like
hold on, I'll tell you. Bowtied Golfer.
Yeah, Bowtie Golfer. Okay. And so it's one of those like scatter plots where, there's opposite ends of the spectrum on it. So the top and bottom is fun to be around and insufferable, and left to right is poor and has money. So
it's such a good way to kind of like differentiate these things.
Yeah, for sure. So obviously I think you would want to be for sure in the fun to be around section, whether you're poor or has money. I think
you gotta be above the line. You
want to be above the line. So the top right quadrant I'm proud to say I'm a member of this quadrant, apparently.
I am as well.
This is your fun to be around and also has money, which, debatable, but whatever.
Very, very debatable for me as well.
Brands that you can find in this category would include the Tuxedo Collective. I have no idea what that is.
Don't know what that is. That was the only one I didn't know on the entire list.
But that's like the highest one up there, so it must be
super expensive, and they just must be like all Chads.
If you don't know what it is, you can't afford it, kind of thing, right? Like, and this is also Scotty Cameron, Titleist, and then I was kind of honestly a little surprised to find Callaway and TaylorMade here. They seem like very centric brands. You can almost put them in the center of the map.
I was going to say you could probably maybe slightly above the fun to be around insufferable, but like right in the middle.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
So also in the fun to be around, but this is on the poor side. Shout out to our guy Ryan. This is Mizuno and Strixon. Man, this is a tough scene. Shout out to Joe. Pretty sure that he plays Strixon balls and has Mizuno clubs, so just a double whammy of fun to be around, but poor.
For the record, the way Ryan played in the Stampede, that Mizuno would be below the fun to be around line. He'd be below it.
Sure, I can imagine. All right, now this is this honestly might be the worst bucket to be in. Has money and insufferable. I think that might be the worst.
I don't know. I think probably the worst one.
This is Miura, PXG, Lab, and then Bettinardi crosses the line. It's like kind of poor, but also has money, but definitely insufferable.
Yeah. I don't know many people with Bettinardi. It was pretty big about 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It was kind of like the Lab golf of like the early 2000s.
Yeah, it was definitely like the niche putter that like people like to collect kind of thing.
Yep.
And then finally in the insufferable and poor category, Tacoma. I have no idea what that is.
And I could be mistaken in this. This is the one that Garrett from YouTube Golf, like he bought a stake in it, I think.
Okay.
There's a couple YouTube golfers I think bought stakes in Tacoma.
Okay, well, I agree. This is definitely insufferable and poor category.
It's definitely insufferable for sure.
This is also where you find Cobra and Ping. So
tough scene for the Ping and Cobra people.
It's a very tough scene. I will say Ping is closer to the fun to be around line than Cobra is, just for delineation's sake. There, everybody.
Cobra and Tacoma are further down in the insufferable on the insufferable line. I want to say the one that I agree with you. I think Callaway, TaylorMade probably need to be more centric. I don't think they're overly expensive. I could be wrong about that, especially Callaway. I don't think Callaway's overly expensive. Like, they've got some value iron sets that I think are pretty affordable. That's why I think it needs to be closer more to the center as far as like poor and has money.
Yeah, I just feel like Callaway and TaylorMade are like the people's brands of golf. You know what I mean? Like if someone who just is kind of like, an average player gets out on the weekends, plays in some scrambles, they probably have TaylorMade or Callaway clubs.
Yeah. And I think it's more because they have value offerings. You know what I mean? Like,
or you can buy the previous year's model like a year later and it's on sale already. Yeah,
and you can find them in Dick's or like a sporting goods store. You're not like going to get fitted or whatever.
For sure,
I think that helps.
Yeah.
I will say, the other mistake that I see is, I don't hate Ping.
I don't either.
I don't think it's super cheap. I could be 100%, and maybe it's more that way because so many people have like the old Ping eyes. You know what I mean? Like those things are still floating around. Maybe that's why it's more on the down the poor line. Frankly, I don't know why it's below the insufferable line either. That's a little surprising to me. That feels more centric as well. Yeah,
I think for Cobra kind of feels similar to me too, to be honest. But I think with Cobra people, there's like two buckets. There's like your Ian Poulter Cobra, and then there's like your, like your Ricky Fowler when he was with Cobra. You know what I mean? So there's kind of like There's a dichotomy with Cobra that I think can be tricky.
They definitely deserve to be below the insufferable line. I think
at this stage, I think we can say
for sure,
probably.
Lab golf, it could be further down. I mean, I think it's as far down as it possibly could go in the insufferable. It should be even further than that, just to be.
You already know I'm on the record as PXG. Like there should be like its own category of insufferable. I don't know what it is, but
insufferable is not even the word. Probably just annoying.
Yeah,
obnoxious.
There's a few.
I mean,
words.
Their commercials are obnoxious.
Yeah,
but other than that, I don't really see. I'll be honest. I think Scotty Cameron, and I'm a Scotty guy, could be a little lower on the fun to be around. It's at the top.
Yeah, I think it could be lower too. It could be closer to the insufferable line
because Scotty can be. It's like a boys' club. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like you're either in it or you're not, kind of thing. So I don't think it should be below like in the insufferable area, but it definitely should be closer to that line. Yeah,
100% agree.
Yeah, I thought that those were the only mistakes I saw. Everything else, other than the tuxedo guy or whatever the hell that brand is, that I don't know. I think it's pretty spot on.
Yeah, I don't have many bones to pick here. I think it's pretty close.
Yeah. The PXG though, PXG and Lab Golf, they're just outliers. Like they just,
those might be the most appropriately ranked or placed things on this chart.
They nailed it. 100%. Yeah, they're overly expensive. They're ugly. Like it's just the brands, like they're newer brands. They just don't have like the history behind them. Yeah, they are deserving of where they're at. Maybe even if they could be more down the insufferable line, it probably wouldn't hurt.
Yeah, for sure. All right. We have a whole bunch of golf potentially upcoming here. First big announcement. I'm back for league this week.
I'm gonna try. I have my match play match on Wednesday.
Oh, you're gonna try to pull the 27?
I'm gonna try to. We tee off at like 2:15. I mean, there's only two of us. The tee sheet's wide open. So my hope is that we play in about 3 hours, and I can still play in league.
Nice.
But I'm glad you're back. It's overdue.
Yeah, shout out to my wife and my mother-in-law who's actually going to come over and help her out with the boys for the evening. So I can get out and, escape these four walls for a little bit of time. So,
oh yeah.
Yeah, massively appreciate that. I'm probably going to shoot 1 million, but whatever.
I'm just
be happy to be there.
So I took 2 weeks off, not on purpose, just sheer scheduling issues.
Yeah.
And I think I've decided when you take like 2 weeks off in the middle of the season, it goes one of two ways. You either like all the bad habits are gone, you're flushing the ball, right? And it's like almost too good to be true. Or you can't find a glove face. I don't think there's any. Like you're not going to go out there and shoot 40. You're either going to go out and shoot like 36 or 37, or you're going to shoot like 44.
Yep.
I don't think there's any gray area here on Wednesday for you.
Yeah, this will be like a 3-week absence. But I got to be honest, like right after the Stampede and that league night, right after Stampede, I was not in love with golf. It was very much a hate relationship at that stage. So that's probably what I needed to do. Just shut it down for a while and get away.
Honestly, I'll tell you, my body was kind of starting to hurt. Like I've had some like weird like thumb and wrist issues this year, like just some soreness. And it did feel good to kind of like shut the engines down, kind of let the body, repair itself. And sure. I got back into the gym last week. So kind of felt good to do that. It was, to me, it felt like really hard to be like, do a week in the gym and then play golf, like, the next day, like after my first day back in the gym after about a month and a half off.
Yeah.
So I needed it because I think we're in the stretch run here where, at least for me, a lot of golf coming up. I'd rather be healthy for this like last 2 months of golf than like wear myself out by like middle of August.
Yeah, for sure. So you mentioned you've got match play. You got anything else, or is it what's after that?
No, I got my singles match play, which is the semifinals on Wednesday. Shout out to Lance. He took down Kyle Hodges, who the next week wins our city mid-am.
Yeah.
I mean, Lance is, trust me, like I did some research on Lance when I became a member and played with him the first time. The guy's got a pretty decorated amateur career. Played in some Western AMs. Like he's a good player. He still is a good player. That, I think he's probably in his like lower 60s, maybe mid 60s, but I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good match. He still hits the shit out of the ball for an older guy. Like he swings so hard at it. I hope to God when I get to his age, I can swing as hard as he does at the ball still.
Yeah.
I'm going to find it hard to believe I will be able to, but no, it'll be a good match. And then really after that, I'm trying to think, just I got a couple scrambles coming up. One at Golf Club of Dublin. And then I've got another event at NCR South in mid-September. So a shamble. Which NCR South should be a fun course for a shamble.
Oh yeah, probably.
It's gonna have to find some like wedge players come along.
Good luck. After that, I mean, we get into like the late September, October stuff. We've got some club events coming up with the Ryder Cup, the Elks 100th anniversary. So it's our club's 100th anniversary this year. And then it rolled that into the member guest at the end of October, and that's like a nice little 6-week stretch of golf there through the fall.
It is. Unfortunately, I'm going to miss our 100-year anniversary.
Boo.
Football calls. You know what I mean? When you got a chance to go watch the home team versus my favorite team at Lambeau Field, kind of hard to pass up.
Yeah.
It's going to be. I'm going to have a great weekend. I'm going to go to the Wisconsin-Iowa game that weekend as well, which is going to be.
Jeez.
Yeah, Camp Randall. It's going to be a good football weekend. So I'm not super. I was kind of sad that I was missing it, but I'm not sad at the same time because it's going to be an unbelievable weekend.
No, that's wild.
Yeah, but
now I'm jealous of that.
But we do have some golf coming up. Yeah, our member guest, which should have been last Friday, got pushed. Like a lot of courses in our area, it just has been a relatively weird weather, and it just we got fungus that started growing on our greens, and unfortunately had a couple greens that just needed some repairing before we hosted anything. So our member guest, it's late October, which could be dicey. Could be perfect. Could be perfect golf weather. Could also be maybe not great.
This is what all the years of the Turkey Open has prepared us for. Is for the member guests.
Yeah, I'm actually. It's funny because we kind of just run out of events, and frankly, like unless it's like super cold, I'm probably not playing open golf. Like open, I'm not playing like just a general round on a Saturday. You get some events in October, it might be an opportunity to pull out the old cart cover.
Yeah, dial it up.
Yeah,
get out Mr. Heater if you need to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But no, it looks like our events are going to stretch into October, which I don't hate, because October golf can be really good around here. So.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think of all the fall golf is like the best. Like the peak of fall golf is the best of the year.
Oh, it's when the courses are the best around here, at least around here.
Yeah.
Spring is tough sometimes because just with like how much snow cover we can get and stuff like that. Fall is when it's like, it's really, really good. Yeah. We talked about that broken record on this show. I think we've done a couple fall rounds and it's like trees are changing, courses in perfect shape. Yeah. It's top notch.
Just that crisp air. You can smell the leaves, like, oh, man.
Yeah, and then you get done and there's football on TV. Oh. Like, there's nothing better than that.
No, truly. All right. Well, on to some professional golf here. Tommy Fleetwood finally did it. We knew it was going to be this one.
It had to be this one. And then you knew it had to be this one because he was going to get discounted because there's a 30-person field, right?
Yeah.
But to me, the way he played and like the way he finished that round. I watched his last 8 holes. The guy golfed his golf ball the last 8 or 9 holes. I mean, he golfed the shit out of his golf ball. Other than the bogey on 15, which, they made a point on the broadcast. They're like, walking off that hole with a bogey in the situation he's in is almost like making a par or birdie, right? Like, he didn't make a big number. For those that don't know, 15's that long par 3 island green. But other than that, man, it was just stuffing stuff. Easy pars if he missed. Like, he made that look. He made the last 8 holes look really easy compared to what he's made the last, 9 holes of the tournaments he's blown look previously. Like, he made it look so easy for a guy that was coming off that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, with him watching it down the stretch, we've seen it, I mean, so many times throughout his career, but even just this like last few weeks even, where can't quite close the door, somebody goes and gets him, sloppy bogeys. And so to your point, like, he was just so solid. And ended up winning by 3, which was pretty impressive with the cast and the crew kind of chasing him.
Yeah. And then it gave you a spotlight to just see how shitty Patrick Cantlay is on a golf course. Ugh. Like, at one point, I think they were two holes behind. Him and I think it was Keegan and Russell Henley were ahead of them, and they were a full 2 holes ahead of them. Yeah, not good. But
it's so bad. It's getting worse too. Like the shuffling of the feet, the waggles, the looks, away from the ball towards the hole. Like, yeah, he just doesn't even move quickly. Like
no,
it's so incredibly slow.
No, and I can't remember whose video it was, but they talked about he pulled a club. I think it was on like 13. It was right when they got put on the clock, so it was like 12 or 13 because I had the broadcast on at that point, and. He's played this hole 3 other times at this point. Yeah. They didn't move the tees. There's no wind. So it's not like the wind changed. Like, I could see if, like, it's been to the wind now. Like, maybe I'm hitting a different club. Nothing changed. He pulled his club, and it was like 35, 40 seconds before he even teed up his ball after he pulled his club. Like, just unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable.
Yeah, and we're going to have to root for him here in like a month. That's the problem.
I'm hoping... Man, I'm going to tell you right now, I know he's on our side, but this New York crowd, especially if he's not playing good, they're going to lay into one of our own. Like, they don't put up with that bullshit, dude. The New York lifestyle is fast. They are not going to play that game. They don't care what colors he's got on.
All right, well, quick rundown on the leaderboard here. Basically was like the entire US Ryder Cup conversation
pretty
on
much,
the leaderboard here. T2, Henley and Cantlay. T4, Connors, Scotty, and the first Scam Young. T7, JT, Scam Burns, and Keegan Bradley. And then T10, Ben Griffin and Chris Goddard. I think we can just kind of get into the Ryder Cup conversation off of that.
Yeah.
Some interesting quotes coming from Keegan after this tournament. Another, high finish for him after not doing much throughout the summer until here. Let me pull up that. Basically, let me pull up that quote real quick.
Yeah, pull that up. There's reports. Good. I've seen a couple people with noteworthy names that have kind of like reposted it, maybe not confirming it.
Yeah.
That Sam Burns has received the call saying he's going to be on the team.
Interesting. Okay. By the way, just before we get to this fully, I saw this graphic from Golf Digest. Scotty would have won by 1 if they had done the tournament with starting strokes.
I did see that. Yeah. I don't. Can we talk about that real quick while you're pulling it up?
Sure, we could do that.
I don't like the way they did it this time. Like, I love that Tommy won. I do.
Yeah.
I like the old way. Not the starting, like the first way we did it. Like, it should be a season long points. Emphasis on playoffs. Obviously, playoffs are worth way more points. And you go play the tournaments. And, like, you have winners of each individual tournament, including the Tour Championship, which might not be the FedEx Cup winner.
Yeah. Totally fine.
Because God loved Tommy. And Tommy had a really good year. He did. He had a really, really good year. Topped off by a win. But to say that he deserved that more than Scotty Scheffler is crazy. It's absolutely nuts.
100%. Yeah, I understand there's so many complicating factors with it, but like, you just have to either that way, what you just described, the old way, I think is way better than either the starting strokes or what they just did this weekend, for one. But two, like, we have to be able to find a way to like make the playoffs like an actual playoff, right? Like it needs to be head-to-head matchups of some kind.
Let's
whether
get
it's
some match play in this bitch,
right? Even it doesn't have to be match play necessarily. It could be stroke play matches, like just something where you're like actually eliminating people and it's like real stakes. And then you can do buys, you can still do multiple tournaments, like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to just be like one giant match play bracket. There's so many ways you could break it down to do something that's more entertaining. I think a
stroke play match would be pretty cool. I mean, that's what the NCAA does, right? Like, it's a match, right? But it's not match play. Mm-hmm. I think that's, to me, that would be, I think that would be kind of cool. That way you don't get, people getting closed out on 13. You're going to have some blowouts, don't get me wrong, but like, you're not going to have a guy like, he loses 4-3, and then like you have some weird TV, coverage issues, right? Because then it's like no matches out of the. But I think something along those lines where we get some head-to-head matchup. Maybe you do 2 rounds at Eastlake and then whittle it down to 16 and let them, the last 16, play it out the last 2 days. I think that would be great TV.
Yeah, I totally agree. So yeah, I don't know what they're going to do moving forward. I mean, obviously they just rolled out the new CEO for the PGA Tour Enterprises, and he was basically like, don't assume that anything we've done will continue to be done. Yeah, so he's like looking to change shit.
I love that. And it sounds like he's, if it makes it worth his time, like he's ready to burn everything to the ground outside of the majors, essentially.
Yeah. And
I love that. Love it.
I mean, I think there should be nothing that is too sacred from a PGA Tour perspective.
Outside the majors, and obviously from an event standpoint, I don't even think it's an event standpoint. Like, the events are the events, right? Because you got sponsors in place. But I think how you go about the events and all that, like, nothing's too sacred from that standpoint of even what time of year outside of, like, you're not going to play the Memorial in April, right? Like, you're not going to do that. But I think even from a scheduling standpoint, I would be open to, moving things around that can be moved around, right?
For sure. Yeah, so we'll see where all that shakes out. But back to the Ryder Cup, Keegan's comments basically were, there's probably going to be a few guys that think they're going to be on the team that aren't going to be. And he described the phone calls as going to be awful. That's just one of the comments he has made.
I think one of those names is probably Mag McNeely. I think he's in the top 12. Probably thinks he's got a pretty good chance of being on the team.
I would not even, I guess, but...
Yeah, but I can just tell you, like, if I was one of those golfers and I was 10th, like, I at least think I have a pretty decent chance of being on a team. And if I got the call, I'd be a little upset. Especially, it's a lot of guys up there that this is their first time even being contention to be on this team, right?
Yeah.
Your Ben Griffins, your Mag McNeelys, Russell already, he automatic qualified, but there's some newer names up there that maybe don't know how the politics work behind it, but they're probably like 9th or 10th or whatever. Like, I have a pretty good chance of being on this team.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I think somebody like Mav might be smart enough to know, like, I'm not really a course fit. I'd be a rookie. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think he might know. I mean, I get it. You would feel like you had a good shot if you're right there, but...
What scares me is these comments were about Ben Griffin. And that makes me nervous.
That seems to be the kind of the rumors on the internet.
One of the two, I think, or it could be both of them, right? I mean, think about it. If Keegan takes himself and goes outside the box for one other one, I mean, both of those guys could be out.
I don't think they would do this, but him saying it makes me think it's more possible than not that they could leave like Colin home.
They should.
Like, he's not played well. He's not a course fit. He doesn't seem like the best locker room guy.
No. And so I saw something today that, to me, it would be a crime if either one or both of them were left off the team. And that's Ben Griffin and Cam. And look, noted, called him scam, stuff like that. But what needs to be noted is how he's played golf over the last 2 months. And there's so out of the top 12 guys, I think no, it was the top 16 guys on the qualifying list. 1 and 2 shots gained tee to green were number 1 Ben Griffin, number 2 Cam Young.
Yeah.
Out of the top 16. So leaving one would be almost a crime, and leaving both of them would be malpractice, I think.
Yeah, I can't take credit for this. I'm pretty sure I heard this on No Laying Up's podcast this morning. Cam Young changed golf balls this summer, and it is the same golf ball that Bryson uses.
Are you serious?
Yeah, which I think is a very interesting and possibly key thing for when you're talking alt shot.
And they would be a good team. You got someone that's really high on the highs, and Bryson, kind of the energy guy, just tagged along with someone that could literally make you fall asleep on the couch. You know what I mean? It's not a bad team. And they're both kind of outsiders, right? Cam Young doesn't seem like a guy that's friends with everybody. Obviously, Bryson has his noted, not issues, but just differences with people. Probably wouldn't be the worst to be like, hey, you guys are in the same pod and you're going to play a lot together. You play the same golf ball, whatever. And I think that would not be the worst. I have a bad feeling, though, Ben Griffin's the one that's going to get one of those calls that. And the worst feeling in the world is I got this bad feeling that he's going to get left home for someone that probably doesn't deserve to be on the team. And I'm not even talking about Sam Burns. I have no problems with Sam Burns. I got a feeling that we're going to take Colin, even though Colin's higher on the point list. Another stat from the rankings, this top 16, the worst short game of the top 16, Colin Morikawa over the last 2 months.
Yeah,
and it's not even close. His short game is miles worse than everybody else that's in the top 16. And to me, for a guy that's not a good course fit, that is a disaster waiting to happen. He's not a good course fit, and he's not chipping and putting the ball well. I don't like it. And I have a bad feeling he's going to end up on the team.
God, this is sick. I think he might be the one getting the call.
I hope so. I hope so. I'm starting to like Ben Griffin, and if we're gonna take a rookie, he would be the one I'd want. You got to have a rookie. You're gonna have a rookie, right?
Oh yeah, JJ is a rookie by nature.
I know, but I'm just saying, someone that you're gonna pick. There was Jordan. Look, we're noted Jordan fans on here, but he has he shouldn't even be at the course. That's how bad he's played. Seriously, I love Jordan, but if we're taking him because him and JT play well together, I hate that. We did it 2 years ago, and it didn't turn out very good. So
no, I would truly be shocked if he was picked. I'm with you. I think it comes from this top, 16, unless they went a little bit down to, Chris Goddard, who he bounced back nicely.
He played good this weekend too.
Yeah. So I outside of doing that, I don't think they'd go deeper. I think JT's on. I think Cantlay is on. And I have a pretty good feeling about Cam Young being on.
Yeah, I think Cam Young's on. I do. Because he's a good course fit too. He's pretty long. That's going to play well at Bethpage. I just worry that Ben Griffin's going to be. I think out of the top 12 specifically, it's probably Ben and Mav that are the outside looking in.
I just can't if the Morikawa thing is a real conversation. Unless you're just saying his pedigree, which at this point, he hasn't won in 3 or 4 years. His big success was 4 or 5 years ago. I think you would have to take Ben Griffin, just on recent form and potentially course fit even.
Yeah, I really wish Colin was not going to be on the team. I have a bad feeling he's going to be, but I don't want him on the team. And if it was up to me, Patrick Cantlay wouldn't be on the team either.
Yeah.
He's the new Patrick Reed. I don't think he's a good think about I know he played well 2 years ago. He did. He was kind of, him and Max were really the only two that showed a heartbeat the first 2 days. But think about where all the drama came from. Patrick Cantlay.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you're trying, with Keegan being the captain, you're kind of trying to show, hey, we're taking a new route at this. Part of it's like leaving people off that, I know he played well this weekend, but leaving someone like him off is, hey, this is a team thing. Like, and if you're not going to be a team player and you're going to cause all this drama, you're out.
Man.
That's kind of my feeling behind it.
All right. Let's lock in who would your 12 be?
All right, let me get this. I wrote it down. Hold on. You go ahead. I'm going to get this pulled up.
Yeah, the auto qualifiers again are Scotty Scheffler, JJ Spawn, Xander Schauffele, Russell Henley, Harris English, and Bryson DeChambeau. So we got 6 picks. They're making them on Wednesday. I would take JT. I would take Ben Griffin. I would take Cam Young. And I don't love it, but I would take Cantlay. So that there gets me to 10 guys. So I got basically 3 guys for 2 spots here. That includes Colin Morikawa, Sam Burns, and freaking Keegan Bradley. And
I love our text this week, and we're like, he's messing around and he's going to have to pick himself after he played pretty good this week.
I think I'm going to put Sam Burns on the team, and it's more like a course fit thing than anything else, like driving and putting. And I think I think he's going to pick himself. So because of that, I think I'm going to put him on. It's not what I would do, but that would put me in a spot where I'm leaving Colin out. And I just feel like to me, at the end of the day.
Well, here's how you weigh that, right? Do you want Colin Morikawa on the team, or do you want Keegan Bradley on the team? And I think if Keegan was not the captain, you would say Keegan.
That's the thing. If he wasn't the captain, the problem is he is the captain. So that's what makes it tough. But I just, at this point, like, Keegan honestly has the opportunity to do like one of the sickest things of all time in golf, and I think he should just take the opportunity.
I mean, the last person to do is Arnold Palmer, right? Like you're on a short list of people that have done this.
And if you're gonna do it, this is the moment you do it in, right? Like it's in the Northeast, in New York.
If it's an away match, no chance you do this. You can't do this, right? And Arnold Palmer didn't even do this. When they played at East Lake when he was a playing captain, it was a home match, right? You can't do this on European soil. You can definitely do this on American soil and get away with it.
I'm at the point now where like I just want to see it happen just for the entertainment value of it. Like if you win and you were playing captain, you were like, it is one of the most legendary things in golf.
And I'll tell you, put yourself out on the first match, day.
Yeah.
And so that brings up just a quick conversation about like if he does pick himself, what does that scheduling look like? I think you have to be the first match out, right? Because you want to get out there and you want to get done and you want to see the rest of the matches finish. That's my take on it. You don't want to be last.
I think the opposite. I think so. They've already decided we're playing foursomes first, so we're going alt shot off the bat. I think you sit out that and you go play 4-ball in the afternoon, because then all you're doing is playing your own ball. You're just trying to play well. Then you get the opportunity to sleep on it or like go, have the evening to like get ready for the next day.
Yeah.
But if you go out first, then you're grinding with a partner, hitting alt shot. You have no context what's going on in the course. Like, I feel like you need to like sit that first one back personally.
Yep.
If it was 4-ball in the morning, sure, go for it and just fire the crowds up. But I don't know why they chose
Dude,
foursome.
Could you imagine the captain coming out to hit a tee shot? I mean, tell me that wouldn't just get the crowd rocking.
Look, I want to make sure that I say I don't think he should do this, but I'm at the point now where I think he's gonna, and I kind of just want to see it. So that's where I
think if he was like a Jim Furyk personality, I'd say absolutely not going to be able to handle it. I think Keegan, one, I think he's still young enough, right? Yep. And two, I just think he's got he's got that Boston like that
He
Boston
does
personality, right?
Yeah.
Like almost like the more people say he shouldn't do this is like the more he's going to do this, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And he did have a quote saying, notably, like there's a couple guys that are going to be on the team that said he should absolutely pick himself.
Yeah.
And if he gets enough guys that are on the team to go, you need to pick yourself, I don't think he's going to be able to not pick himself. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Like if Scotty and like Xander and like Russell and Bryson, like you need to pick yourself, it's going to be hard to sit there and go, no, you're wrong. I'm not picking like it would be tough.
I totally agree. Yeah.
So
that's what I'm going with. I'm leaving Colin Morikawa at home, and I'm putting Captain Keegan on the team.
So you picked your 12.
Yep.
So I'm going to go Justin Thomas as my 7th, Ben Griffin 8, Keegan Bradley 9. So I got 3 more. I'm going to go Cam Young, Sam Burns. See, this is where it gets weird because now it's like you almost need Patrick on the team. You know what I mean? I don't know.
That's how I got to my 12. I know you want to take Chris Goddard, though. That's who you want to take.
That's who I've been beating the drum for. And honestly, like, he's another one. Like, Rutgers ties, New York, close to New York City. Kind of got that, like, that Keegan Bradley, like, nothing's too big. I wouldn't. If I was picking between Patrick and Chris Goddard, I'm taking Chris Goddard.
Yeah. From
just he's good enough to not go out there and get just absolutely slapped around. And I think it being close to home and things like that, he was, he graduated from Oklahoma, but he went to Rutgers for 3 years. I think if it was anywhere else, I'd say no, but it's close enough to home. I think he'll have even more of a home field advantage on some of these guys. So that's who I would take. I know it's probably not going to happen, specifically if Keegan takes himself. Now, if Keegan doesn't take himself, I could see a world where it's like a Patrick Cantlay and a Chris Goddard both on the team. But I think Keegan's going to take himself, so that probably leaves those two for one spot. And I would say I would take Chris, but my brain says it's going to be Patrick.
It would be so sick if they left Cantlay and Morikawa at home.
Leave them. They just both seem like terrible locker room people. Like,
dude, if they're like truly like him saying that today or yesterday, that there's going to be some guys that probably are expecting calls that aren't going to get them, kind of thing. Like,
I love it.
I think that it really opens the door for him to do anything. I think,
and then we sit on our hands and wait for the next full swing for when he makes that call to Patrick Cantlay to tell him he's not on the team.
Oh my God!
Dude. I may this run that on a loop on my TV for like a year. Him calling Patrick to tell him he's not going to be on the team.
Yeah, this is either going to be like one of the most insane, legendary moments in golf, or it's going to be just like a massive. There's only 2 ways with this U.S. team: massive failure or massive like crazy story kind of thing.
Yeah, and I will admit though, I think Keegan's in a lose-lose situation, right?
Yeah, he definitely is.
Unless they win, like that's the only way. I think it's a lose-lose situation unless they just come out and dominate. Because if they end up losing and he picks himself, people are like, shouldn't have picked yourself.
Yeah.
If they lose and he did, and he didn't pick himself, they're like, why did you leave one of the best 12 golfers off the team?
Right.
And yourself. The only way none of this happens is if they win. If they win, none of it matters, right? But they really did put him in a lose-lose situation. If they do lose this, like he's going to get tossed around for regardless of what option he takes.
100%. Yeah, totally agree. That's why I think just say screw it, put yourself on the team and try to go ball.
But I did think it was interesting on the broadcast yesterday. They kind of, I think it was Kiz that was like, you're supposed to take the best 12 golfers. And if you think you're one of the best 12 golfers, you got to take yourself.
Sure.
And by the way, did you hear the PGA Tour called NBC on Saturday and said they were talking too much about the Ryder Cup on the broadcast?
Dang. I mean,
thumbing more people.
I get it. It's like their championship or whatever, and NBC's obviously got a very, very vested interest in the Ryder Cup. So But it's you also are telling a media company like you can't talk about the story of the day. Like that was the most important story outside of Tommy winning on the course.
You know how many times like this week Keegan got asked about the Ryder Cup? Probably 100.
Yeah.
Because after this, invitation was over, it's what's next on the docket. So
exactly. All right. Well, we'll find out Wednesday officially. Oh God, I can't wait.
I
hope I can catch it live. It could be an all-time Twitter day. We could have a vintage Twitter day.
It is, and if it goes the way that we hope, I don't know if I can wait till March for the full swing episodes to come out. I'm going to need an early release on these things, like call and get the footage or something.
Yeah, I will say I think your scenario makes more sense. Like he's 5 spots ahead of Cantley on the standings, so like I could see him picking himself over a guy who's behind him
for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
So, all right, I think it's time. We're gonna hit the patio. Patio weather is just like absolutely popping right now.
Oh, it would be perfect outside today.
Oh, nice little fire. Get you a little bourbon, maybe. We're getting close to bourbon season again.
I had me one on Friday. I was like, man, it's too good. It's too good outside to like let this slip away. Made me an old fashioned.
Yeah.
Slipped outside. Watched a little baseball out on the patio on my iPad. Sipping on some Buffalo Trace old fashioned. Doesn't get much better than that.
No, truly does not. We got the patio is almost dialed in. My dad and I big shout out to Bob. He's hooking me up with a real legitimate electric setup out there. Gonna have a TV mounted, sound bar, the whole thing.
Oh God.
Got to build out the furniture a little bit. We haven't done that just yet, but man, we are so close. It's gonna be Saturday night. I'm gonna be out there just absolutely vibing,
just taking in every college football game.
Oh, it's gonna be the best. Truly gonna be the best.
Oh.
I'll go first in the patio here. Why not?
Go for it.
Did you catch any of the Stanford Hawaii game?
I did not. No.
Okay.
I'm not that big of a degenerate.
shout out Hawaii money line. Let's go. So Hawaii's kicker. Did you hear about this guy?
No, I haven't heard anything about this.
So his name's sorry if I mispronounced it. Kansei Matsuzawa. He's from Japan. He decided he wanted to play football. He went to an NFL game on the West Coast a few years back and just decided he wanted to play. So when he got back to Japan, he taught himself how to kick by watching YouTube highlights of Jason Myers from the Seahawks.
Are you serious?
Yeah, so
like
he taught
off
himself,
of YouTube.
Yeah, and so he practiced a bunch. He would send a bunch of highlight videos to like tons and tons of colleges. Turns out he got an invitation to kick from community college, Hocking College in Nelsonville, Ohio.
Oh, hell yeah. I know Hocking College, yeah.
Yeah, in 2021. So he was doing kickoff duty or whatever at first, but then eventually he wound up getting an actual offer from Hawaii 2 years later to go kick there. And so he kicks the game-winning field goal against Stanford to open their season this year. That's pretty crazy story.
Yeah, that's freaking awesome.
Yeah, amazing. That's why college sports are good, not this NIL bullshit. But that's another conversation.
Yeah. God, we could go all day about that.
Yeah. So my question is, what's the best thing you've taught yourself how to do from YouTube?
I'll tell you what, this might be recency biased, but my power washer like 2 years ago, probably a year ago, I think it was like last year, wouldn't start. And I usually power wash my patio in the spring and in the fall. Like spring, get all the, snow melting, get all it off, clean it up for patio season. And I usually like to do it in the fall just to kind of like helps me blow the leaves off too. You can kind of like, it turns into a blower.
Yeah.
So I usually do it in the fall too. But it wouldn't start. And, I was like, I don't know what to do. It's like late October. I'm like, I can't put this in the shop and do this like 2 weeks into November. Like, God knows what the weather is going to be like. So I went to YouTube and like started problem solving. Like, what's the issue here? And turns out it was a fuel filter. Just from like watching some YouTube videos. Like, if you have this power washer, which was my power washer. They're like, it's a fuel filter. I'm like, all right, let's go find a fuel filter. So I looked around and went out to Tractor Supply, found a fuel filter from the one I needed, installed it, and it worked. I was pretty impressed. I am not a handy person. For those that know me personally, that is like me trying to learn calculus in a day. Like that impressive. I didn't think I was going to be capable of it, but that's the most recent one and probably the best one that I can think of. But I used YouTube a lot for stuff, just like stupid stuff. Like, hell, I didn't even know how to take my one ice maker out of my fridge, and I'm like, all right, find the brand, find the model number. Like, how does this thing work? I had to change the filter too in it. I've done that. Like, I used YouTube for a lot, but that's probably the most impressive one I've had.
Yeah, that's somewhat similar story for me. Not all that impressive, but like, I'm somewhat handy, but definitely would not describe myself as handy. About once a year, we have a riding mower that the guy we bought our house from left for us because he wasn't going to need it. Once a year, a tire will go flat on this thing, specifically the front tires. And it's not like they have like a puncture or whatever. It's not. They're not damaged.
No, like the seal. Like they just lose the seal. Yeah,
they lose the seal. Yeah. And you go out there. I'm a dumbass. Whatever. You just put the air compressor on it and it's just not doing anything. I'm like, what the hell? Whatever.
Yeah.
So you look it up on YouTube. Turns out, obviously, you need to reseal reseat the tire. And I know people that are handy are probably like, oh my God, these idiots. But look, when you find these little life hacks, it's like, it's nice. It's a good feeling,
Oh yeah.
So you just take some rope, wrap it around the tire, take like a wrench or something you can use to kind of crank it and like tighten the rope. And so you tighten it around the center of the tire, and then that expands the inside wall of the tire out to seat on the actual wheel itself. And then you can pump it full air. Boom. Now,
I've also seen another way to do this, and this is just me digging through YouTube, not to fix anything, but I've seen videos of it. There's also a way you can use like a blowtorch.
Oh, to kind of heat the air or whatever? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah,
that's
and it
cool.
like pops out. And then it's not super blown up, and then you can then at that point it's blown up enough where it kind of reseals itself, and then you can use an air compressor to fill it up the rest of the way.
I might actually try that one. That might be a little quicker solution than what I've been doing.
Probably, yeah. Maybe a little more dangerous.
Yeah.
We don't want to get too ahead of ourselves here.
No, for sure.
But I've seen that. I've seen it done that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's pretty good though. I've never had to do that.
And
I would have been just as clueless as you are.
Countless things, like you said. You're always looking up stuff. Like, all right, what's wrong with my fridge? What's going on with the dishwasher? All these different things.
For sure. Yeah.
Changing like stuff with cars, obviously huge on YouTube. Like,
oh yeah. Yep.
You can save yourself quite a bit of money if you can quickly diagnose something on YouTube and get apart and fix it yourself.
Yeah, I one that was a couple years ago, and it turned out to be so stupid. But when you take the doors off your Jeep, your mirrors are gone, right?
Mm.
So I found these like really cool design mirrors. It's like got a, like American flag on it, but obviously came from China. Like zero instructions, like how to do this.
Yeah.
So I went on there but I like the way the instructions read it, like was like, oh, like you attach it here. It actually had to be attached somewhere else, and it just didn't like diagram it very well. And so I went on YouTube and did that. I thought that was pretty handy in myself. But yeah, I think you do it I think a lot of people do it for a lot of things now.
Yeah.
I don't do electric. I had I know people go on YouTube and figure out how to change, outlets and stuff like that. I had a bad experience with electric one time. Turned off the electric. That was not it. I'm not that big of an idiot. I know better than to do that. But our first house was built in like 1919 or something. It was like super old. And I'm up there changing out, a ceiling fan. And just shot back off the ladder. Like,
oh my God.
like, what had happened is I did turn. I'm like, what? It didn't like. It just shot me off the ladder. I'm like, I kind of felt a little tingly for like a couple seconds. But what had happened was, being an older house, like there was just a ground wire there that was not really doing anything. Like there was, you know what I mean? Like it was from, I guess it was from something else that I didn't turn off, or like some kind of wire that I didn't turn off.
Yeah.
And a dude shot me back off the ladder. I'm like, after that, I was like, no more electric for me. But I've like learned how to reseal a toilet and stuff from YouTube, because like I know that sounds super simple, but I've never had to do it. I've done that, but yeah, I think to me, the extent of the work that I had to do on the power washer was the most impressive.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's other things. Because like I said, I do that stuff all the time, but I couldn't think of anything else in the moment. But yeah, just him teaching himself how to kick, and then eventually turning it into a college scholarship and a game-winning field goal was like
crazy.
Yeah, that's wild. That's insane.
Like I didn't go on YouTube and like now I'm going to get hired as a mechanic. You know what I mean? Like
no.
The head mechanic at like a shop. You know what I mean? That's not going to happen anytime soon.
Right.
Well, given college football is coming up, I felt like we had to get some college football discussion in here.
Sure.
Typically, preseason rankings are preseason rankings. I want you to give, I don't know I can tell you the rankings if you want. So we're going to you got to pick one team in the top 10 that you think is not going to be ranked at the end of the year. And a team that's not ranked will be in the top, we'll say 20. 25 is not a great bar, but like someone that you think is going to end up in the top 20. Maybe partly into discussion, maybe like some kind of group of 5 that might be in the discussion for the college football playoff.
Oh, God.
So the top 10, starting out the year, this is the AP poll. Coaches poll is a little different. AP poll goes Texas, Penn State, Ohio State, Clemson, Georgia, Notre Dame, Oregon at 7, Alabama 8, LSU 9, Miami 10. If you had to pick one of those teams that would not be ranked at the end of the year, who would it be? And by the way, I think if you go back like 25 years, there's always been at least one team that started in the top 10 that ends up unranked at the end of the season.
Yeah, I have to look this up because, I can't be read to. All right, so you want me to pick somebody that's going to not be in the top 10 or not be what? Not ranked. They're in the top 10 right now, but they're not going to be ranked at the end of the season. And like I said, there's some crazy run, and it's like it might even be 30 years that someone has started out in the top 10 and has been unranked at the end of the season. I'm not as into this as you are, so I think it's tougher for me. I think, and I don't even know, I have no real reason to base this, but just looking at this list of the 10, there's 2 of them here. One, Oregon, because I think
new quarterback,
like they play a tough schedule in the Big Ten. I could just see them picking up like 3 losses and then that kind of knock them out or whatever.
Yeah, they stay off of, I believe they stay off of Ohio State's radar this year as far as a regular season game goes. Gotcha. But I think they play Penn State. I think they play Michigan. I think they play Illinois, who are all ranked.
Okay. That's less scary than I thought it would be, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but think about it. You get 3 losses, tide starts changing a little bit. You get to a 4th loss, and you might be out of the top 25.
Sure. And then the other one that kind of caught my eye is I feel like we've just been trying to do this thing with Miami for so long.
That was the next one. And they got the transfer quarterback from Georgia, obviously. A little different.
Back. See, Miami's my pick. Get him out of
here. He's a notable, not a locker room guy. A lot of stuff came out from Georgia after he left that he was kind of a loner. No one really liked him.
He's a TikTok quarterback now, so you can get him out here.
He is, and he was dating one of the Miami girls, like the basketball players, for a while. So I don't know if they're still dating, but
I think they are.
I think that was the easy one for me. The top 10, someone falling out of it. That's the easy one. But however, the ACC is not good. So even if Miami takes an early loss, I'm pulling up their schedule right now. So they play Notre Dame this weekend. Even if they lose that game, they got Bethune, South Florida. Their only other really, really hard game is Florida, and it's at home. And Florida is one of those teams that ever since Urban's left, we've kind of tried to. They're back, right? Are they? We don't really know. So I don't know how that's like a super tough game for them.
Yeah.
The way I look at it is like it's either going to be like a 8-5 season, and they're out of the top 25, or they somehow pull off like a 9 or a 10-2 or something like that, just because the ACC is not good. And they might lose the two toughest games on their schedule, which is Notre Dame and Florida right now, and win the rest of them. You know what I mean? That's definitely an opportunity. But Miami's the low-hanging fruit.
I kind of want to get wild and say Texas.
So it's funny you say that. There's a lot of question marks there.
I know.
I think a lot of it's going to be answered this weekend. I know it's the first game of the season. You can say teams change from week 1 to week 10. My only worry about Arch Manning is the talent that he played in high school. He played, for those that are in Ohio, a Division VI school is what he played high school at. His genes, he's going to be the best athlete on the field. There's probably not much arguing that. What I worry is we've seen him play one half of football really in college, and it was against an FBS team or an FCS team. But then with him being new, and then their schedule is that's where it gets iffy, right?
Yeah, you just you
lose to Ohio State, okay, your own one, whatever. Yeah, you got San Jose State and UTEP. They're going to win those games, even if he's not what we think he is at this point. But then you go, and then Sam Houston. But then you go Florida, at Florida. They do get Oklahoma. They play that at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. And then you've got their run of the last 3 games goes at Georgia and Arkansas at home and Texas A&M at home. But what I'm saying is if you lose at Ohio State and then maybe say you drop it to Florida, now you're like 3-2, things start spiraling out of control. Like you may drop a game to like a Kentucky or a Vanderbilt or something. One of the games you shouldn't drop, and then you're out of the top 25.
Yeah.
That was the one that I was like with the most question marks. Because like Notre Dame, their schedule, they play a heavy ACC schedule. They've got enough talent on that team that they're probably not losing more than 2 or 3 games. And they're still going to be ranked because they're Notre Dame, right? Georgia, they're just not going to lose a ton of games. The only other one is Clemson. Not been the same Clemson the last 5-6 years. Really, since COVID, they have not been the same team. That was the other one that I kind of looked at and was like, they drop a couple games that they probably should have won. And ACC, if you have 3 losses, you're out of the top 25. So
yeah, I kind of put them in. To me, them and LSU are in a similar bucket where like they have experienced quarterbacks, which I kind of trust.
Yeah, but
also, like you said, Clemson hasn't done it for a bit, and LSU, the Brian Kelly factor, where the bottom can just fall out. Like I think those two are they're. I think the floor just isn't as low because of the quarterback play.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
So that's why I didn't look at them, but I could definitely see the real. Like to me, having this conversation right now, I'm realizing like this might be a very wide open year.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. It could be. I think last year was pretty wide open. I think this year could be actually even more wide open because you don't have a team like Ohio State that just like, look, we don't know how their season's going to go. Like they're going to probably lose a game or 2.
Yeah,
but they have got the best roster, bar none. Period. Right? We don't really have that team this year. Ohio State's loaded on defense. Offense is still a little iffy. Georgia's obviously got talent, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they're not like oh man, they're sporting 8 guys on each side of the ball that are going to be playing in the NFL. Like nothing crazy like that from any team this year. So now the question is what team outside the top 25 would you say is going to be in the top 25 or top 20? I said top 20 at the end of the year. I can finish out the top 25 for you. So after Miami at 10, it goes Arizona State, Illinois, South Carolina, Michigan, Florida, SMU, Kansas State, who already has a loss, OU, Texas A&M, IU, Indiana, Mississippi, or Ole Miss, Iowa State, Texas Tech, Tennessee, Boise. I'll give you mine.
Yeah, let me know. What's the question again, just so I can keep thinking about it?
Who's outside the top 25 that's going to end up in the top 20 by the end of the year?
Okay.
I think it's Toledo.
Whoa.
They got a chance, first game of the season, to go into Kentucky and get a win. Kentucky's not very good. They got some quarterback issues. You kind of get past that game. I think they have another tough non-con after that, but you've one loss and you run the slate in the MAC, you will be a top 20 team.
Jeez.
Now MACtion is hard though. You're playing on those Tuesday nights in November. You could be the better team, but if you're playing a night game at Eastern Michigan, it gets a little hairy up there.
Yeah.
But that's who I think. I think they're relatively loaded. And speaking of like MAC football, you know what I mean? Like it's like loaded's probably not the word for it, but they're highly talented for a group of 5 team.
Yeah, that's you shocked me with that one. I don't think I can beat that call. Jeez.
My other one, if I'm going non like small school like that, I think Nebraska's actually got a really good chance at sneaking into the top 20 and having a really good season, only because they got really good quarterback play. I know Dylan Raiola last year he's a freshman, right? But he got enough snaps and I think he's got enough talent that they got a decently easy Big Ten schedule, as easy as they can probably be. I think if they get to 9 wins, they'll probably be ranked.
Yeah, what is SMU bringing anybody back?
So they're ranked. They're 16th. Yeah,
I missed that.
So
Sorry.
here's the teams that have received votes outside the top that did not make it in the top 25. It goes BYU, Utah, Baylor, Louisville, USC, Georgia Tech, Missouri, Tulane, Nebraska, UNLV, Toledo, Auburn, James Madison, Memphis, Florida State, Duke, Navy, Liberty, Iowa, TCU, Pittsburgh, Army, Louisiana, and then the last one who got 1 point in the AP poll, Colorado.
Yeah. Look, I'll be honest. I'm looking at our PFF projections right now.
Cheater.
I know. We got Missouri at 16th in our power rankings right now.
They're pretty talented. I think their coach is actually a really good coach too. I think he's brought them back from the depths, man. They had if you remember 16, 17, they were really good.
Yeah.
Fell off the face of the earth. Had some really bad seasons in there, but he's kind of brought them back. Cotton Bowl win a couple years ago. I don't hate that pick.
Yeah, and another one that's caught my eye too is Louisville at 20. We got them ranked at 22.
Yeah, Louisville's another one. Again, ACC. If they just win the games early on that they should win and maybe pull off. They have a pretty big game this weekend. I think I could be wrong about that, but I thought they had a pretty decent non-conference game this weekend, or maybe it's next weekend.
Yeah.
If you win that one, you maybe drop a stupid game in the ACC because, college football is hard and they're 18 to 22-year-olds. They finish with 2 or 3 losses, they'll be in the top 20.
Yeah, I think my official pick there will be Louisville just because the ACC factor.
Yeah, they're just so bad. It's just such a bad – it's crazy because it used to be really good.
Yeah, I would like to take Missouri, but I just feel like once you factor in the SEC, you could get a quick 5 losses out of nowhere. So
Yeah.
I'll go Louisville.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You take an SEC team like Missouri, right? And it just things start snowballing. 3 losses turns into 5 or 6 pretty quickly.
Right.
So, especially in the side of the conference they're in, Tennessee. They're in the East, I think. So they're like, Tennessee, Georgia, Florida, kind of running the gauntlet down on that side of things. So,
yeah.
God, I'm excited for college football.
I'll say college ball is a little more your game here, but God, got to talk some ball on the pod tonight.
Hell yeah. God, Jeez. I can't wait. Can't wait for Saturday. Hell, can't wait till Friday.
Well, Sunday morning we'll kind of do like our NFL show of the year, our preseason NFL show.
Yes.
We always do before our fantasy draft. So we're just right there, man.
I cannot wait. I'm going to roll out my picks. I'm ready to place some bets for futures here soon.
Yeah, tomorrow.
I'll have them dialed up for Sunday.
Shout out to FanDuel. Tomorrow's Futures Day.
Yes.
They're doing like boosts and all that all day.
Yeah.
It's going to be I'll be checking early and often.
Can't wait.
Yeah. All right. Thank you all for listening. Please subscribe, rate, and review the show if you've not done that already. Follow us on social media at Back96Back. And until next time, cheers.
See ya. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Back 9 Six-Pack. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Back 9 Six-Pack for all your content needs. We'll see you guys next week. Cheers.